For decades, people believed they were making smart health choices. They cut out eggs. They avoided butter. They feared cheese. They eliminated carbs. None of these decisions came from biology. They came from fear. Cholesterol was labeled the enemy. Fat was accused of causing heart attacks. Carbohydrates were treated like a toxin. But the human body doesn't run on slogans. It runs on mechanisms. In the places where people live the longest, modern healthy eating rules barely exist. They eat the foods we were warned about, and they live longer because of it. The problem was never the food. It was the way its function was misunderstood. In the next few minutes, each food once labeled unhealthy will be examined not as a meal, but as a biological system. And once these mechanisms are seen together, one thing becomes clear. They were never the enemy. The fear of eggs came from a simple assumption: dietary cholesterol becomes blood cholesterol. It sounded logical. Biology rarely is. Cholesterol is not waste. It's structural material. Roughly 25% of the body's cholesterol is found in the brain, where it plays a direct role in neural signaling. When eggs were removed from diets, people weren't protecting their hearts. They were cutting off a foundational resource. The yolk, the part people were told to throw away, contains choline, a compound essential for memory formation and cognitive function. It's also one of the few natural food sources of vitamin D, a nutrient most people are deficient in. Research shows eggs don't increase harmful cholesterol patterns. Instead, they shift LDL particles from small and dense to larger, more stable forms that are less likely to penetrate artery walls. Eggs also affect eating behavior. People who eat eggs for breakfast consistently consume fewer calories throughout the day. Not through discipline, but through stronger biological satiety signals. In populations with the highest life expectancy, eggs were never abandoned. They were only feared in cultures that confused fat with danger. Cheese became a suspect during the war on fat. Then, a contradiction appeared. Populations that eat the most cheese, particularly full-fat cheese, often have lower rates of heart disease. This became known as the French paradox, and it forced researchers to look closer. Cheese contains vitamin K2, a compound that directs calcium to bones and teeth instead of allowing it to accumulate in arteries. Without K, 2 calcium hardens blood vessels. With it, calcium goes where it belongs. The fat in cheese isn't a burden. It's a delivery system. Many vitamins are fat-soluble, meaning they can't be absorbed without fat present. Removing fat reduces nutritional value. Low-fat cheese attempts to compensate with starches and additives. These versions are less satisfying, trigger weaker satiety signals, and often lead to increased consumption. Real cheese self-limits intake. Not through willpower, through physiology. Cheese was never the issue. The imitation versions were. In trying to eliminate butter, people replaced it with substances that never existed in human evolution. Margarine is not food. It's a process. Grass-fed butter contains vitamin K2 and butyrate, a short-chain fatty acid that reduces inflammation and fuels intestinal cells. Butyrate supports gut integrity, immune regulation, and systemic metabolic stability. Butter from grass-fed cows also has a healthier omega-3 to omega-6 ratio, avoiding chronic inflammatory responses associated with industrial seed oils. Fat is also essential for absorbing fat-soluble vitamins from vegetables. Without it, nutrients pass through the body underutilized. The yellow color of butter isn't cosmetic. It reflects beta-carotene and nutrient density. Pale butter signals an industrial system, not a biological one. Butter didn't cause the problem. Its replacement did. Pain is often mistaken for harm. Capsaicin, the compound that makes food spicy, activates multiple protective mechanisms. It increases metabolic rate, reduces inflammation, and influences blood clot formation. Large population studies show that people who eat spicy food frequently have lower rates of early death. Capsaicin also triggers endorphin release, the same neurochemical response seen after exercise. This isn't pleasure, it's adaptation. The benefit only occurs when capsaicin comes from real food. Supplements fail to recreate the biological context. Tolerance builds over time. Once adapted, the stimulus becomes a regulatory signal rather than a threat. Small controlled stress strengthens systems. Avoidance weakens them. Chocolate was condemned because of sugar, not cacao. Dark chocolate contains flavanols that improve endothelial function, reduce blood pressure, and enhance blood flow. Its antioxidant capacity exceeds many so-called superfoods. The benefits only appear above 70% cacao. Below that, sugar dominates and negates the effect. Dose matters. Small amounts activate protection. Excess turns into metabolic burden. Gut bacteria metabolize cacao compounds into anti-inflammatory byproducts, extending benefits beyond digestion. Dark chocolate isn't a loophole. It's a lesson in structure and dosage. Pasta's reputation collapsed because of blood sugar spikes, spikes caused by overcooking. Al dente pasta retains starch structure, slowing digestion and moderating glucose response. Energy is released gradually. Cooked and cooled pasta increases resistant starch, which bypasses digestion and feeds beneficial gut bacteria. These bacteria produce compounds that reduce inflammation and support immune regulation. In longevity regions, pasta is eaten regularly in moderate portions alongside vegetables, olive oil, and protein. Pasta isn't harmful. Context is everything. Not all bread is the same. Sourdough undergoes fermentation. Microorganisms break down phytates, improve mineral absorption, and partially digest gluten. The result is lower glycemic impact, increased resistant starch, and improved gut compatibility. Traditional cultures consumed fermented bread for centuries without modern health crises. Bread didn't change. Its processing did. Alcohol is toxic. Biology still responds to dose. Small amounts of red wine introduce compounds like resveratrol activating hormesis, a mild stress response that strengthens cellular defense systems. Benefits disappear beyond 1 glass per day. Red wine differs from white due to fermentation with grape skins where protective compounds are concentrated. If you don't drink, there's no need to start. Similar compounds exist in grapes and berries. This isn't permission, it's observation. Organ meats were abandoned for cultural reasons, not biological ones. The liver doesn't store toxins. It neutralizes and eliminates them. Nutrient density in organ meats far exceeds muscle meat, especially vitamin A and B12. Predators prioritize organs for a reason. Organ meats aren't daily food. They're strategic food. Potatoes were dismissed as empty carbs. In reality, they contain more potassium than bananas and rank highest on satiety indexes when boiled. The skin holds most fiber and micronutrients. Resistant starch increases when potatoes are cooked and cooled. Avoid green potatoes containing solanine. Potatoes are quiet, stable energy. Not flashy. Effective. These foods didn't change. The story about them did. Nutrition was shaped by fear of fat, fear of cholesterol, fear of simplicity, but the body doesn't respond to isolated nutrients. It responds to systems. When food is viewed through a biological lens, patterns emerge. Whole foods, natural fats, fermentation, and gut interaction consistently align with longer lifespans. There are no superfoods, only misunderstood ones. The real question isn't what to eliminate, it's what we misunderstood in the first place. When fear steps aside, biology takes over. And many foods once condemned were never the problem to begin with.